Good evening and welcome to Your Call. Joining me tonight is a man who is currently rewriting all the rules of politics in Pakistan. The man who is currently the country's most popular leader according to a recent poll, Imran Khan. Imran Khan, thanks very much for joining me tonight. Imran, you could conceivably return to India as the next Prime Minister of Pakistan.
I think my party is poised. In fact, I'll go a step further. Unless we make blunders, nothing can stop the party from winning, because the young people in Pakistan, which is the majority, have decided on a change. So therefore they have identified Tehreek-e-Insaaf, PTI, my party for change. Now unless the image of the candidate does not suit the image of the party, which is for change, it's the only way we will not win.
So you're the right man at the right place at the right time?
Well, Insaf is the idea whose time has come.
It's interesting because you mentioned corruption, and this has been really the main mantra really of your party or election campaigns is anti-corruption. India going through a similar flux in a sense where the ruling government is battling with same allegations of corruption, the opposition also facing similar allegations. Do you see similarities in the two very different struggles the countries are facing?
Well, remember, corruption is what makes the third world. If you look at Transparency International, this NGO which publishes every year the table for the most corrupt government and the cleanest governments. And if you look at the table, the most prosperous countries are the least corrupt and best governed, and the poorest countries are the most corrupt ones. So it's got nothing to do with your resources. Corruption destroys a country. It destroys the governance system. And when the governance system goes, it doesn't matter if you're sitting on oil like Nigeria, you'll still have masses of poor people.
But often, and Indian politicians often pride themselves in the fact that, look, at least India is not like Pakistan. They would claim that our democracy is a success story. Look at what's happening in Pakistan. There's no real democracy. The army can step in anytime. The late Brijesh Mishra told me, does General V.K. Singh think he's in Pakistan, when there was a whole tension between him and the ruling government? From the Pakistani perspective, how do you see that tale?
Well, I'm afraid, and it's sad to say, that to some extent it's right. Pakistan democratic system never got going. Each time the political governments floundered, the army walked in. And so our democratic system didn't evolve. India, on the other hand, the democracy got embedded. Nehru stayed there for a long time, and so the systems flourished. And Pakistan, our great leader, Quaid-e-Azam, died immediately after partition, after independence. So we did not have a leader of stature. And so hence we are stuck with this, we were stuck with this musical chairs. Politicians failing, army coming back, army, and the fact that it was army rule, we never had, the politicians that came in were nurtured by the army, so natural leadership never evolved. But now we are in an incredible situation where for the first time you're seeing in the worst of times, the best of times, we are actually seeing a genuine democracy about to explode.
And you don't think the army, you don't think the establishment can stop that in a sense? Because some have, of course, accused you of being too close to the army.
Well, the ones who accused me was this party PMLN. And lo and behold, there was this famous case by Asghar Khan, which was in the Supreme Court, where the ISI had funded certain politicians and party. And guess which party they had funded? PMLN, who were accusing me of being funded by the army. So, you know, they say it takes a thief to catch a thief, because the thief thinks similar to, he thinks everyone, he knows how a thief thinks. So they thought we rose because we were backed by the ISI, but no one has understood this phenomena, this massive change which started in the ground level and then suddenly exploded in these massive public rallies. It's actually a politically aware public, thanks to this electronic media, which is vibrant. First time we have television with chat shows. You have the prime time television is political current affair programs. And secondly, the social media amongst the young people, like in the Arab Spring, it has caused such political awareness that now you're seeing a completely new Pakistan. And the old politicians can't come to terms with it because they're still stuck in a time warp.
It's interesting because then when you use age, because in that sense, Bilawal Bhutto, the very young president of the Pakistan People's Party, you don't think he would appeal more naturally to the youth than you?
But Bilawal has hardly spent any time in Pakistan. He can barely speak Urdu. He doesn't know Pakistan. He's inherited a party on a piece of paper. An 18-year-old being made co-chairperson of a party, it violates all democratic norms. So it's exactly what we are all fighting against. We want a genuine democracy. This is actually more like a monarchy. In fact, Prince Charles would be better equipped to take on after the Queen than, say, Bilawal after Benazir.
Dynasty is a reality in subcontinental politics.
Well, it violates the basis of democracy. You see, why did democracy come in? Because basically monarchy is degenerative. Just because one king is exceptionally talented or he's struggled in life and he's achieved great things, doesn't mean his son is going to do the same. What makes a leader? He comes through a struggle. It's the struggle that develops a leader where he can withstand pressure. The greatest quality of a leader is he can take pressure. In crises, he stands up like Churchill did once. So, if a leader has faced no pressure in his life, he's led a life full of comfort, how can he suddenly be handed over the country's destiny? Just to give you an example, both Benazir and Nawaz Sharif, the reason why they failed, one of the reasons why they failed, their first job was to be a prime minister. They'd never done anything in their lives. I mean, how can you be a leader if you've never done anything in your life?
But in that sense, people would say you were a cricketer, then you went into social work and charity. You've been in politics, but not that successfully in the last decades. What equips you?
Well, number one, I built an institution. You see, country is all about building institutions, strengthening institutions, how they work. So I have built the best institution in Pakistan. In the last 3 years, it's consistently won awards for the best managed non-corporate institution in Pakistan. I built a university now, the first university out in the rural areas. But I mean, compared to me, hardly any politician has ever done anything. Even as a cricketer, at least I achieved, I competed. These guys have done nothing. They haven't even had a job in their lives. Most of them have done no job in their lives. So how do you expect them to run a country? If you do not understand how to run institutions, you cannot run a country.
Well, Imran, as I said, those who laughed you off, I think, are now eating their words in many senses. But I have some questions. And as I said, a man who is a potential Prime Minister of Pakistan, a former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir and a Cabinet Minister, Farooq Abdullah, has this question to ask you.
Imran, it's wonderful to see you in India. And I have one question and one question alone. If you come to power in Pakistan, what steps will you take to improve relations between India and Pakistan? One, a part of this, will you bring those who are responsible for the crimes in Mumbai to books so that people of the subcontinent realize that you mean business to fight terrorism?
My friend Farooq, all I can say to him is that my party has taken a decision that it's time now to have a completely new relationship with India. And I hope, the Indian, certainly the Indian public realizes it, the young people in India realize it, that the dividends of peace are so enormous. I mean, if we have peace, there's China, the fastest growing economy on one side of Pakistan. There's a whole energy, the greatest resources of energy on the other side of Pakistan. India, one of the biggest economies on the other side. I mean, if we have peace, this could be the fastest growing place in the world, the most happening place in the world. The mere fact that we have not been able to sort out our relation and we have this mistrust and we have We blame each other for everything. Pakistan blames India in Balochistan, Mumbai and other things. India blames Pakistan. This mistrust. We have to have a new relationship. So this is my conviction. I'm not making any political statements. I'm not going to get votes in India, but this is my conviction. It's time to now look ahead and the larger picture. And so that's number one. Number two, when he talks about bringing those criminals of Mumbai to justice, it's my conviction that time has come in Pakistan that we should, when we deal with terrorism as a whole, because remember, Pakistan is the one which is suffering from terrorism the most. We've lost almost 50,000 people in terrorist attacks. So the time has come now, again for Pakistan, to completely review the way we have dealt with militant groups in our country. Because it is now having an impact. Pakistan can't go on as it is. And I'm not just saying the groups which India is worried about. I'm talking about the groups operating within Pakistan. Karachi, for instance, the three major parties patronize militant groups. Karachi is up in flames. The businesses are leaving Karachi. Karachi is our financial hub. Every day there are about 10 to 15 people killed in Karachi. So the country just cannot go on as it is. So therefore, first we intend to pull out of this US war on terror. That will take away the narrative of jihad from the militants. At the moment the jihad narrative is taken away, we mobilize our tribal people to reclaim the tribal areas, because the only reason they don't take on the militants is because they will not fight a mujahideen. They're very conservative religious people. The moment the jihad narrative goes, the moment we disengage from the US war, won't allow any drone attacks, won't take any money from the US, and then we ask our tribal people to reclaim their land, and they can easily do it. There are about 800,000-900,000 armed tribals as opposed to 20,000-30,000 militants. So they reclaim the land, and then we turn inwards and deal with all the sort of militant groups, some nurtured by us during the Afghan jihad in the 80s, some sectarian groups. Pakistan has to deal with them, de-weaponize them.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.